Hey everyone, it's Ann, Stewart, Principal Broker with eXp Realty, and today's topic is the Portland real estate market update for September 2021. We are back in the throes of the coronavirus, and how does that affect the market? So stay tuned. So today's topic is all about the housing market, and hopefully it's okay with you guys. I'm casual today. I'm working on my home, getting some projects done. So I thought I would just hop on here and give you my thoughts. I've been listening and reading up on all kinds of economic stuff, and I'm really interested to see where we're headed next because, man, who would have thought we're right back in the thick of this coronavirus now with the Delta variant really throwing us all for a loop. And how is that going to affect us going forward? And truth be told, we don't know. We can look back at the last year and kind of make some thought processes around it. But let me give you some things to think about as we're heading into the fall and winter. There are some indicators happening right now that I think are absolutely fascinating. And I am probably more hungry for information about the economy and what's going to happen next than I've ever been before. It's just like living out a movie in these times. But the first thing I want to share with you is what's going on with inventory. So as you might have heard from other videos, we are still really low in inventory, but we have seen the inventory go up. This month's market report, we are back to what we saw in the last year. So in the last 6 months, you've probably heard, you've probably seen, you've probably watched neighbors. Maybe we've even helped you. You saw a hyper market. In my 20 years, I've never seen it this way. Like I've seen pretty hot markets, but this was something completely out of the norm. And we watched the market just absolutely surge. We watched buyers do things in contracts we'd never seen before. We never saw such demand ever. And so in the last 6 months, we have just really seen quite the housing market, and all spurred by the lack of inventory. And there's a lot of reasons why there's a lack of inventory, but we have seen record low inventories. Inventory levels we've never seen ever in history here in Portland and throughout the country. So there really is no sacred spot, I tell people, anymore. The rest of the country has experienced very similar market to ours, some hotter, some less hotter, but we've seen record low inventory. So to see the inventory finally get back up to about 1 month of inventory, while that doesn't sound like a lot, it's actually like a little bit of a relief because there was a point this year where we thought we would completely run out of inventory. So we're back to 1 month of inventory, which is encouraging. I'm starting to see buyers' offers get accepted without having to give up their first child, which is always very encouraging. And we're starting to see a little bit more of a healthy balance dance happening, but it's still a seller's market. So I tell people just because we're up in inventory doesn't mean it's a buyer's market at all. In fact, we haven't been in a buyer's market here in Portland for a very long time. Pre-COVID, way long time before that. So we're still in a healthy seller's market, which is good if you're thinking about selling, but where are we heading from here? Like what's going to happen next? And while I tell everyone I don't have a crystal ball, I watch indicators, I try to be proactive in what I think is going to happen next. I do think if you're thinking about selling, it's a great time to evaluate that sooner than later because a lot is on the horizon. As many of you know, we've seen the stock market absolutely go bananas for a long time since COVID started to, climb back. And we don't know that we can keep that pace. There's a lot of money flowing through the system right now. Inflationary concerns are on the horizon. What will the government do about that? If the FDIC meets this fall and winter and decides they're going to do an easing, which we haven't seen that happen since I think around 2013, that could certainly mean a change in interest rates. That could certainly mean a change in consumer demand. So there's just a lot of unknowns right now, and how COVID plays into that is still yet to be seen. We're still seeing a high demand for housing, and I think that's going to stay. I don't think we're going to lose that traction as people are still, trying to be, work from home. Now we're going back. I mean, I've talked to a lot of clients. I know my own personal family. There's a lot of people that just can't really go back the way they thought they were as we were kind of, easing up this summer, going back to work. So I think working from home is here to stay for a long time, and for many, it's going to be that way forever. And so I think housing is going to stay strong. Now, as far as pricing goes, well, we have seen recently in the last 30 to 60 days that pricing hasn't gone totally cuckoo bananas. Like maybe we've kind of hit a peak, and of course demand is always going to push the peak because when there is demand, there pricing continues. So I don't think we're going to retract in price. I think we've seen more appraisal issues than we've ever seen, just because we've climbed so fast, so high, that appraisers are scrambling to try to keep up with these prices. But, with this new economy, with the money flowing, prices are going to continue to probably go up. Now, they may not go up to the extent that we've been seeing this year, but I think that we're going to see a pressure on that just because we still have low inventory. And so with the movement of the market happening, I think with coronavirus kind of resurging, I think we're still going to see that happen. Now, if interest rates go up, if they decide they're going to, make changes in our economy in the money flow to keep from maybe inflation happening, that will come into play. It's going to make less buyers be able to afford things, and maybe it'll balance the scales a little bit between rent to buy, which is not the case right now. So there's just a lot on the horizon that I think a lot of us are really wondering what's going to happen. We also have, the other thing I'm looking at is cryptocurrencies. While a lot of people are scared to talk about it, they don't understand it. I've been doing a ton of research this summer over cryptocurrencies because I believe that we will eventually be looking at a digital currency at some point. If not now, somewhere in the future, there will be the prospective of the ability to buy houses with cryptocurrencies. And so there's also the inflationary factor with that, and how does that factor in? So there is just a lot of change, a lot of movement, a lot of fluidity going on in the market. But I can tell you right now in September, we have been putting houses on the market and getting really healthy prices for them, really good demand. And so if you're thinking about making any kind of move, whether it's in the near or far future, it's not a bad idea to look at it now. I always look at the market as, you have a hand in poker and you know what that hand looks like right now, so you play that hand, but you don't know what the next card's going to be. So think about that in terms of your overall strategy. And if you're thinking about buying, again, the interest rates are super low. That's one of the reasons why there's such high demand. It's almost cheaper to buy a property than it is to rent, especially here in Portland. So there's just kind of that perfect storm for both sides of the coin. If you have any questions on your particular strategy, please let us help you. Even if it's just a conversation around, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you think about that? So we do that a lot for people on a pretty weekly basis. So hope you guys are having a great start to your fall and ending the summer. Please stay safe and call us if you need anything.